talk is by Sir Sivamurthy, Hiremath on infrastructure security.
To one and all, it is indeed a great pleasure to be here today. I see most of the lectures and the discussions on warfare technologies and IT structure interaction, what are they going to be developing in this today's world, what is the requirement for academic research and IT practitioners. And these are the things which are the most players. I'm going to discuss some of the issues, what is required as in today in the national and international levels. But these are what are the topics I'm going to be discussing. These are on theoretical part of point of view and how best this my theoretical point of view, how you can utilize these IT professionals, practitioners. Because the practitioners is totally different from the researchers. Okay, this is what I wanted to highlight for today because most of the audiences are from IT sector. So here is, before going to talk, I want to share some of my personal views on this, what today the global is facing the problems. So I need to highlight some of the points on this. This is going to become one of the best platform to share today. I come from the academics and the research background, and it is become one of the best excellence for academics and research in industry training. And security agencies are already has been that era has been gone. Now when it comes to this virtual field, this is the main area as in today. Still it has been continued by handling by the armed forces, IT industries, including academics, researchers, and especially for the legal professionals also. So these are all comes into one platform to make the cyber security to implement it in a secure for our nation. This is what I wanted to share today. The next point is today you must see this. So many countries, the day-to-day life, our usage of computers and related information technology to carry out the routines, work by communication, responsibilities, etc., banking and etc. To some of the countries have made very clear the cyber war one of the topmost military priorities. Irrespective of anything, they taken this as a war field in the attacking on the cyber world. To make down the other countries who are growing in economy, to make that down of such countries. So this, we have no doubt at all, as per the IT sector is concerned in Indian scenario, to survey most of the ITs who are working in the field to concern to tackle the cyber security problem in the national and international level, because it is one of the superpower of our country. To tackle this problem, there is no doubt in India, it will be survived in all the cyber security aspects in the future. This is what I come to know from reading from the research papers, books and all with the IT sectors and all. Now before going to come, I'll start with my topic on this need for new approach to this infrastructure security is concerned. So this is my topic. I'm going to give this need for new approaches to infrastructure security. So first of all, before going to start, now how this has been started, thinking about this India, the IT field, armed forces, academic research. So these are the main top preparators for the cyber crime attacks. So these are the risks as we are highlighting here. The United States has started with 66.1% in the top level for attacking on the cyber crime. The top bottom is the Romania, it is a 0.5. But Indian scenario never prepared for anything. We have kept only for the preparedness other than the attack. So this on this ground of this in the international and the global map, we started with our Indian countries also started to protect ourselves for the national security, including Indian economic growth. Here is what are the stakeholders. After seeing this topmost, then we decided these are the main stakeholder agencies. The morning session is given by Alok. Sir has given the detail. The total entire is the nodal officer of this National Cyber Response Center, Indian Computer Agency Response Team, and my part is going to come on National Infrastructure Protection Center. Okay, these are the main. Everyone have the looking after the government responsibilities to look after with the bridging between industry, academics, and international, national, all aspects. If you come to know that so many attacks has already come up on the Ministry of Defense, including with the DRDO agencies involved in the last year. So these are every individual have their own flavor for the responsibility to look after this. So this what we actually require this global infrastructure is becoming more complex and interconnected. Their operation and control has become more complicated. So how to resolve these issues? We have started by those agencies, and the cyber infrastructure. And next we see this area secure indoor infrastructure with the 5 characteristics to make the successful of this infrastructure: security, reliability, safety, sustainability, and cost effectiveness. Now these are the areas where we are going to develop it. The architecture design of infrastructure security. So already Subodh also must have spoken all the details about critical infrastructure. I'll tell you where this, how it has been classified in the next slide, about critical infrastructure and security infrastructure, and another is the physical infrastructures. But these are the areas we are going to develop on this infrastructure security in the IT level. Now here this is the layer. So already Mr. Subodh has been given clearly about this critical infrastructure. There is no need much I am going to discuss on this because of time constraint of only half an hour. And I am going to discuss on the cyber infrastructures. Here we require only software and hardware, the information security, and then control systems. This is my clear over here. After about this is the critical infrastructure. About this we are having a physical infrastructure. This physical infrastructure is the source. Entire the source available in our world, and based on this we are working on critical and then cyber infrastructures. So this has been classified on this world, and here these are identifying for developing for any infrastructure security. What are the first aim is to identify what are the vulnerabilities is there in the IT sector. So first we have to find out enterprise application security, identity and access management, infrastructure security, security status and risk management, business continuity and disaster recovery planning, then data protection and fraud planning. And security architecture, security planning, security compliances and roadmaps, network vulnerabilities and assessment. Now these are the service in infrastructure security. These are the boarding of these services. You have to look after each and every level of protocols. What are the vulnerabilities? Today it has must be changing from IP version 4 to IP version 6. While implementing IP version 6 also we have to find out what are the vulnerabilities in this. These are the things in that to be taken into consideration. And what are the 4 phases of developing this infrastructure security? First, for developing, taking into consideration our infrastructure, first we have to find out the engagement. What is our business requirement? And next we have to activate it. The third one is assessment. So health assessment, infrastructure process, conduct business interviews, then reporting requirements, then establish service dependencies. And the next is the transition, establish a connectivity, role and responsibility process of procedures, phases, onboard approach, then monitoring and reporting commences. The steady state survival of this infrastructure, we have to study about ongoing infrastructure, guardian services, then monthly reporting, alert, distributions and assets and health, then SME advisory service. This is the way it has been classified as infrastructure security. Now the corporate world is concerned today, I may not be sure this entire government will look after the responsibility of this cyber security. I may be some other comments that may be going to come up because I may get my personal views. This tomorrow it is going to be left on the corporate board. The security is concerned, the total Indian economy growth is totally comes into the corporate board. So this is the one area because the corporate board has to look in, they have their own responsibility, they have their own infrastructure, they have their own expertise, specialty, and they are the look after everything. And tomorrow it is going to become one of the bridging as what we call the public IT sector relationship, as what we call as the chain management. So here proactive actions deal with the contain malicious activities, protecting the and the user by say of net traffic monitoring, routing and gateways. These are the boards who are looking after this. And these are some of the fundamentals. Every infrastructure organization has the fundamental management responsibility. And the risk that is organization may be exposed to today's full interworked environment. These are, and every year you have to mitigate the risk to perform security assessment and also security risk assessment at least once in every year. So this will give the overall statistical outcome of your IT industries. And here is conform to legal obligations and cooperate with the law enforcement activities, especially with the CRT, and use of security product service and skill manpower, crisis management and emergency response. These are other, you must be have already doing this practicing with your IT industries. So what this our national cyber security policy says, for secure computing environment and advocate trust and confidence in electronic transactions. This is our national cyber security policy. So infrastructure security, what is the outcome of this infrastructure security? The main aim of this, we have to set up some techniques, we have to make our own policies, and we have to make our own activities to enhance in a secure and mitigate what are the vulnerabilities outcome of this IT infrastructure and complex network devices and services that permeate our lives today. So next is a general rule. This is one of the best I can share with my on theoretical aspects in studying cyber security. A general rule for cyber security is that it should be implemented top down through directions as well as the bottom up through technology. This is going to be successful for implementation of cyber security. And this is actual due the global cyber security model. How we have posed it actually today, most of the IT practitioners or some academicians or researchers, they are not aware what actually how it is, which is very complex and interconnected. This is the actual picture in the global world. The main play roles are legal remedies, investigation, major initiation, major of threat detection, and major of protection, and major of thwarting and other remedies. These are the main four blocks as considered to be implementation of this model describing cyber security infrastructure, and these are other ways are correlated in the directions. You can see these are directions provide data for analysis, forensic, and the basis for action, reputation for sanction, patch development, and all. So we are in this loop of this block model. From this block model only, it is the entire whatever cyber talks we are doing as in today. We are discussing on this, what we call as a multilateral solutions in the global world. So this is giving a clear picture about this cyber security. Now, what are the infrastructure's play roles? In today, what we are discussing is still the instruments what we are using with all the devices. We are only these sensors and detectors, physical equipments, access controls, and video detection system, and data communication system, and management systems. Within this only, if you are not protecting on this cyber security, then we face to grow our economy with respect to Indian scenario. So these are the things it has to be seen in this perspective. And what actually sometimes if you fail in the cyber security, I need to say that in my personal views, the entire system is based on 0, 1 and signal strength. Some are coding with a way to coding, and some are breaching that code. This is about the system is started within the cyber security. Some are going to make the secure, they're writing so many codes of writing that code, and somebody who want to make it to breach, they're writing another code. This is what is happening in the forward and backward directions. The overall that I can come to know is only the playroom is only 0, 1 and signal in the communication system. So because of the binary system, you must be knowing very well on this. This is my personal review. But we have to make this successful and redesign it. And there is a forward. It should not be in the backward directions for the security. Once it fails in the security, then it has to be problem with these equipments. So another part is, this is all the devices highlighting on this. And there are some highlighting on this architectures, different ways of architectures are designed. Most of the corporate IT and some of the block models on this. And IT governance assessment, you must use this control objective for information related technology. We will come to aware with what is actually happening in the infrastructure security. And smart security risk assessment within your organization, and robust security management, and detect and prevent information security breaches due to inadequate IT awareness within the organizations. So the infrastructure security, the main play role is happening in the network level, host level, and application level. You are already aware with this by IT professionals. And only thing I want to say some of the things here, architecture of some of the design and successfully implemented on this infrastructure by the IT sector. So here some IT structures you can see here. This how this evolution architecture has been started. The security, if you go with the individual servers, our utilization is only from 10 to 20%. If you come into data center, your utilization will be 10 to 20%. If you come into virtual world server, virtualization of server, it is 15 to 25%. If you come virtualization server, 40 to 45%. In the cloud, 60% you're utilizing it. But now see the security is concerned. So in individual level, we are maintaining our highest standard. And if you come into data center, okay, you can call just as a high. If you come into virtual, there is no any security as in today because you must be aware with the cloud computing, how it's going to start within designing and implementation of this cloud security. And if you come to virtualization, there is no here also no security. There is a cloud, the one of the lowest in the cyber security. Now these are the some of the I taken from IT industries, which are the successful implementer of this infrastructure securities with using this switch, firewall, workstation, servers, switch, routers and firewall from the internet. This is already Subur has covered most of the architectural design models in the critical infrastructure. I may take only for the infrastructure for with respect to the security wise. Here this is another portal for security architecture. It has been designed by this Oracle. How it has been designed, this also you can see, browser, and these are the Oracle, this is HTTP server. Here is Oracle SQL Web Cafe and HTTP server. Here this part is totally is application server tag. Here it is the infrastructure tag. Now afterwards, these are how it has been related with authentication, delegation of the devices. And this is also another campus design. What we are, most of the campus of it, colleges, universities and all, we are preferring it. These are the architectures for common. So now we are looking after the next one is data center, about this firewall, then about from the routers. So only on this we are thinking about the cyber security, maintaining the cyber security through infrastructure existing, and this is for some of the school sites they have implemented on this type of architecture. Here district office, here is for the data centers. Now this is for security virtualization. This is another model, how it has been virtual software has implemented through internet or internet, both in this architecture. Now I'll come back to this. This is another model in the international global model. This is the total 4 structures. One is the platform infrastructure, another is the data information and network infrastructure and software. This is the main 4 structures as we need utilizing in the international level. After that, what we are looking from top to bottom, and from bottom to top, what technology we are going to implementing. This is give the clear pictures. After about these 4 infrastructures, then which agency is going to use a statewide security for these standards. Then after that, then you have to be council approved of our government, interstate and all to look for the statewide security standards. Then below that, statewide security standards you have to maintain. Then come back to our network security of that particular campuses. Then below that, we have to implement what type of enterprise architecture, security, government development, you have to review it from time to time. Then policy you have to maintain, IT security you have to be maintained. So this is a clear block idea about the infrastructure planning and development and implementation of this part. Now this is another security architecture. They are using with the storage control 1, storage control 2, storage control N, and different ways they implemented in the security architecture. This is another block diagram. And this is another secure VM management. This is already covered by. This is another guard security infrastructure. How they have classified this. Today we are discussing about most of the talks on this trust, validation and authentications. They have made separate team for here. Certificate and CRM publishing, these are the 2 units. Certificate of authorities, grid trust services team, then credential validation services, governance services, then authenticate services, and how it has been taking place for the to and fro authorizations. Now some of the case studies, the virtual world who are going to attack in what way. So this is a clear picture is giving a case study by Amazon infrastructure. So here you can see multiple VMs of different organizations with virtual boundaries separating each VM can run within one physical area. And virtual machines still have internet protocol or IP address visible to anyone within the cloud. This is another point. Virtual machines located on the same physical area tend to have IP address that are close to each other and are assigned at the same time. This is another third point. An attacker can set up a lot of his own virtual machines. This is very important. look at the IP addresses and figure out which one shares the same physical resources as an intended target. This is another part. Once the malicious virtual machine is placed on the same server at its target, it is possible to carefully monitor how access to resources fluctuates and thereby potentially leaks and secret information about the victims. This is a case study has become. Now they started on this basis. Everywhere this attacks is coming in the national and international levels. Now towards cybersecurity operations, the new role of academic work, we are looking forward from the bridging between academic researchers and IT industries, and especially from data centric who are looking after that, to share some of their views on the practitioner point of view. Because here I must say something on this. To implement this cybersecurity successful, the future I'm likely to be recommending some of the courses for as a degree course, like BE, BTech, NE, MTech with cybersecurity as a core branch of engineering, or even I can suggest some of the things that I start with MS in cybersecurity. So if you make these things for successfully implementing of these courses, what we require here to bridging between IT and academics in the universities, you can see here, optimize the campus-wide resources to fuse knowledge, intellectual capacity and practical skills in an unprecedented way in cybersecurity. And the future will require cyber defense research teams to address not only computer science, as in today we are talking about the core branches, IT, computer and electronic and communications, and parallelly interdisciplinary we are tackling it. But the future, what actually I can suggest just of my knowledge is study about cybersecurity in the world. So these are the main core branch of engineering of studies subjects we require. Here you can see this computer science and electrical engineering, software and hardware security, and political theory, because we have to deal with the international levels with the diplomacy, sir, what morning sir has told about in detail about this, and institutional theory and behavioral science, because sir must have told in the morning session during keynote address by Alok sir. It is behavioral science, what we are thinking about the minds of thought. This is the syllabus we are going to implement, this behavioral science. And deterrence theory, ethics, the professional ethics is one of the most clear role in today's world. And international law, international relations, and additional social science. So these makes you make a man in a well all-rounded to tackle these cybersecurities. So here is academic research centers developing collective group of research centers, ability to adopt to shift towards cyber operations and the challenges training. So this is what I wanted to suggest. This is going to be come up in the degree level courses. Whichever the university is going to start, this is going to test us. Now, the thrust areas where you are facing the problems as in today. A shift not only for the defense establishments worldwide but also cybersecurity research and education. Traditionally, cybersecurity research and education has been founded on information assurance, expressed in underlying subfields such as forensic, network security, and penetration testing. It has been already started on these areas, and it has to look the potential job market for graduates. This is not only working with the only practitioners. Always the practitioners have their own team. They never disclose their anything on the security aspect due to trust and all. So many panel discussion has been taking place. But once you have your own expertise team in your organization, you must share it with your all other team members. So then only you can successfully implement. Otherwise, I may call this as a trust areas to tackle these cyber securities. So this is another area I can suggest hands-on cyber security training in a virtual lab, because as in today we are facing a lot of problems. Nobody is aware what is happening in the cyber world, and nobody is disclosing the nodal center officers or concerned IT industry who are working on antivirus software, developing software, what type of threats, what type of malicious, what type of everything is there, but nobody is aware what is how it is happening on a real world. So at least the IT professionals has to come forward to develop this type of virtual lab. So by training for the trainers, it may be a best choose for to understand what actually is happening in the cyber security. This is what I wanted to suggest on this for make a open source or make a free software for the colleges, students and everything should know about this for the hands-on cyber security training in a virtual lab. And these are the areas in the engineering sites we require. These are the specialization of the subjects to tackle the cyber security. One is coming with the fuzzy logic, another is the evolutionary computations, the intelligent agent system. It is already most of the IT companies have already worked on this, and neural network is also one of the successfully implemented. But I think this result is going to come up from 80 to 90%. I may not be say that it's 100% successful of this neural network. Due to the reason behind it, why everyone is choosing for this neural network is a low cost in software, but the success rate is 80 to 85%. So that's why this is also some part we can tackle this cyber security problems by using this neural network. Then artificial intelligence systems and other computational models also already existing on this. And you have to study about, this is another thrust area. We are facing the problems in cognitive related network, solutions and future research directions. This is one of the worst hitting in the cyber securities. Now, next is security evaluation of data exchange path. So this must be data-centric nodal centers. They must aware this. This is already there. Implementing it applied Wassel shortest path algorithm in MATLAB. So this is the finding the shortest path to find with the efficiency manner for a not more than expected time consuming to tackle or to come to know this using this applied Wassel shortest path in the cyber security. And here this is improving network infrastructure using another technology has come. Already started with geospatial technologies, with a regional or in the roadmap or geographical structure. They have started with tackling these problems. Then here the one of this area we should require from the academic researchers to understand what information-centric networks are getting, what type of problems are facing as in today. If you come to know all this, then we are going to change into another technology from whichever architectural design models are available within this. And here another aviation sector also becoming one of the first areas, and it is implemented with a lot of manpower of this, other than you are not using this infrastructure security wise implementations. There is another area is there, as in today, what are the existing in the aviation sector? We are using with only the packet switching device, wireless interface, and reduce cost, size, weight, power, and increase the connectivity. So this is another area to look into this aircraft system and with the maintaining the cyber security in the wireless model. Now this actual life cycle of this infrastructure, how it has been implemented. This is a cyclic. First we have to plan whatever the infrastructure requirement, then go for the designing, then go for the implementing, then go for the operating. After operating, then you have to optimize it. So these entire cycling, the overlay is start with the strategy assessment, then deployment and deployment part, then remote management, then security intelligence you have to start, then security optimization you have to do it. So then it is going to be within the loop or within the cycling. It has been making a successful implementation of this infrastructure security, and you can utilize the best services from this outcome of this projects. Now, what is my actual conclusion and recommendation on this cyber security is concerned? We have to promote cyber security in academics as a capacity building. You have to make your own training for trainers. Without this training for trainers, you cannot be successful to implement the cyber security. And next is support international cooperation in cyber security community. If maybe have ClubHack or any other who are doing this as a conventional center or as a conference center to share with their views in the international cooperations that you can implement from top to bottom levels. Then here in the survey, I see most of the journals and all. The Cyber Security Advisory Board announced in December 2011 that there is no such thing as a secure anymore. We are talking to each other on cyber security in all aspects, design, modeling, implementation, we are using technology from bottom to top and all, in all aspects of design. But what is the outcome of this? What the expert is already declared it. Even I see most of the current journals also it has been declared there is no such thing as a secure anymore. This is another part. And cyber security committee has set on a continuous monitoring. The outcome of this cyber security, of the security model, we have to come up with only the continuous monitoring is the only one solution in the banking sector or financial sector or in the IT sector or anywhere, wherever it is have Indian growth of economy and all. This is the only one solution that has come out from the cybersecurity team today. Now here we have to start some of the sharing issues from the national and international. To start off with the international convention centers on cyberspace. Not only in the local body or in the national, we have to make up with the international level to share their views and to come up from top to bottom level. That is another point. The future cybersecurity is in the hands of the corporate board. Already I told you about this. How best the government agencies and the private sector partnership is made successful. Till it is internal arrangement. Still it is in the hands of the corporate board. There are so many comments and suggestions has come up on this corporate board. Because only the reason behind was we are getting the expertise on this. Expertise and infrastructure and other etc. And you have to make the security with a data visualization for the training for trainers. Then online privacy should be maintained. And secure and usable interface design should also be done. And cyber warfare. I must be said with Alok sir today. There is a one draft in the National Cybersecurity Challenges. They mentioned the date was June 30, 2020. So that is why I want to share with all my audiences. And what are the outcomes, their suggestions, opinions and their discussions. I am showing that e-book on here only. Promoting a comprehensive national program. This is the requirement. Today the panel discussion and everywhere it has been started. It has the bridge between the education and the professional IT practitioners and along with the resources in the IT security. Then increasing the efficiency of existing information security training program. We are having lack of law enforcement. The law professionalists to make implement and to grow their economy, their growth is left with the law enforcement. We are the only technocrats. We are looking investigation, protection and all. But who are going to implement is in the hand of law enforcement for Indian growth, judiciary and governance. And promoting private sector support, well coordinated, widely recognized professional information security certifications has to be continued in this. And if you have to find out the chain today, demand and supply for recruitments, which are the areas that are coming with the trust areas. Some IT may be having, this is a weakness in their digital forensic, they have weakness, or techno-legal they have problems. These are overall, while implementing infrastructure, we require a good community to work on this demand and supply for the IT sectors in this area. So in the research side, especially in the R&D, so these are the theory, it has to be going development in this subjects or in the specialization of their research teams or research work on this. So these are all the students who are aiming and all, they are coming with developing their own protocols. And this monitoring, surveillance, security architecture and malware and this tool, scalable and all. There are so many already started working by PG students who are working in the cyber security. It's attached with some of the research and development labs. So now the successful to make our cyber security to progress our Indian economy and growth. This is the next more effective as a e-governance. So what actually is e-governance to make efficiency? To making this efficiency of e-governance, we have to make effectiveness and there is a citizen participation. The citizen participation may be all from IT and academics resources and who are looking at the government agencies has to come up with the participation and make the service delivered in the effective manner. And these are the overall outer layer, security, the platform according to that, software you have to design, the data information you have to do it, the network you have to do, then security is the final outcome of this. So because you must be saying today, the corruption free is going to come up based on this e-governance. Everywhere, the transactions are going with only on the e-governance. I hope today my personal view on this, almost all 60% of this corruption free of India is based on this e-governance because we maintain a high standard with it is a play role by the IT sector and the IT corporate boards to make successful of this e-government. Still another 40% is there, that is also going to become e-governance in the future. So time is very limited. So if you have any question, you can ask me in the offline or in the online because I may be taken first time more than 30 minutes. If you have any questions, please you can ask me. Thank you.
Sivamurthy for sharing your views on infrastructure security.
I wanted to so this Cyber Security Nation has defined its events on 30th June. So I want to share with all the audiences. It has been long, hot day in the summer of internal and regional tension in 1900 hours, where everyone is likely to call it as a day. Internet traffic has broken down all over. CERT sends a message to the National Security Council Secretariat and the National Command Post that large-scale movement of several different zero-day malware programs on internet affecting critical infrastructures. So coming report from the different ministries, state governments, establishments and institutions all over the country, senior of what to happen in isolation or in a combination in the next few hours. So these are what are the things it has been given. I will share this PDF file if you want. You can take it from me or you can download from the internet. Thank you.
I request Mr. Anand sir to hand over the token of appreciation to Mr. Sivamurthy Hiremath.